Hey guys, Cindy over paper.old.new. Thanks for coming in and spending some time with me today. We are going to be working on the last of the fabric making from my mess, and maybe the last making from my mess for a little while. The series is going to take a little break. We're getting ready to move into the school year, so I kind of want to get a feel for how things are going to go. But I just thought I would come in here and do this one last one because I feel like this is one of the ones that a lot of people do with fabric, and it's going to be kind of a two-parter because I feel like they're kind of related. So the first thing we're going to look at is a fabric flip, and this is going to be relatively short because I kind of did it ahead of time. And I don't know if I'm going to sew it in the video. I might like put them all together and then take them over to the sewing machine and bring you back like I have in the past. So the first one I want to show you is a fabric flip. And basically all you do is you get some fabric that you like. And the idea behind this is to put it on a page and have it flip up, and you can either have a pocket behind it or some hidden journaling space, or it can just be decoration in your book, however you want to do it. So the first thing I want to do is check and make sure that this will fit on most of my pages, and most of my pages tend to be around 8.5-ish. So we are too long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tear this bottom right here. I'm actually going to tear it at the 8 mark because I don't want it to go all the way down to the bottom of the page. And if you give yourself a little bit of space, when you finish doing the whole thing, you may come across like a piece of trim or something that you want to hang down off the bottom. So you can always, if you make it just a little bit short, you can always add. And I suppose with fabric you can take away too if you get a seam ripper. Okay, this has got a lot of strings in it, but they don't all want to pull. Some of them just want to get stuck. Okay, so and then I get another piece. Now, the thing about fabric flips is they don't have to be centered, right? So I can put this off to one side. I can put it in the middle. You can center it. I think with this particular application, I'm going to center it. And there's also nothing that says, I mean, this is all crafting and what you like and symmetry and, you know, whatever it is that your eye thinks looks good. So if I wanted to, I could leave this to go all the way down to the 8.5. So if this is maybe I cut this longer. So this is at 8, maybe I cut this to 8.5. I probably won't. I'm probably going to cut it up at around 7.5 because I want it to be shorter than my green piece. And again, you can attach trims to actually, you know what? I'm going to leave it on here so that I can decide. I don't necessarily want it to be a specific length. I just want it to be a certain amount shorter than the bottom. So maybe I take it off right about there. And of course you're making more fabric scraps to add to your, but you know, we've done a lot of stuff with fabric scraps, so make your fabric flips and then go back through the videos and see what you might want to make with all the scraps you've created. Okay, so then that'll go on there like that. And then I have this piece that I like a lot, and I tore it. It had like border and stuff around it, but I like the framing of this and then the little piece in the middle. So I decided I was going to make this my kind of center focal, whatever you want to call it, on this piece. Now, if I want this to be lower, because I do have a top border piece, so like that. If I want this to sit lower, that means I'm going to have to stitch through here and then up at the top to put this on. So you have to decide if that's okay with how you want to do your piece. The other thing you can do, of course, is put it on here and stitch. I can stitch low. So like if I wanted to, I could put my stitch down here instead of up top. More than likely, I would do 2 stitches. I would stitch this together just across here, and that would get all 3 of my cloth layers together, and then I would add my embellishments. So I made this little banner, and I thought it would be kind of fun to have this on here. Now the question is whether I want it under or over my lace piece, and maybe part of it, maybe. And this doesn't have to, oh, I kind of like that. Okay. And then I have these little flowers that I can add on here. Because I was thinking I would put one up at the top. You can see it was connected to a pink flower apparently because it's got pink thread in it. I don't want the pink. Okay. Now, these ones tend to be very boxy. Like, and then I would maybe put this up here like this. And there you go. That's a fabric flip. And you've got all kind of flippy bits because these flip, you know, and this one's got a hole. And then maybe I add a button in the middle of there. I mean, you can do all kinds of things with these. I love fabric flips. I think it's a great way to add texture to your journal, and something that's interactive, something that gives you like something hidden behind there. So these are always a fun add and a great way to use up scraps. Cause I mean, if you go through your bin, you're bound to find little scraps like this, which by the way, there's nothing that says you can't make a tiny fabric flip. So maybe I put these together like that and then stick this on here and voila, I have a tiny fabric flip. You know, that's fun. And it can just decorate the side of a page. So I might stitch that together. I may put a piece of this on there because I have to cut that off. So we'll set these off to the side. So we've got a mini fabric flip and we have our big fabric flip, and that uses up the scraps that I got from doing this. Now, the other thing that you can do with fabric, of course, is toppers. Toppers, to me, are a little bit harder, but the idea behind a fabric flip is to get everything across the top sewn together like almost like a notepad. Toppers is a little different. So if I start with a piece of fabric like this, okay, I want it to fit on the front of a book. So you're going to need to look and make sure that whatever fabric you pick for the base of your topper to kind of guide the size will fit on the front of whatever your most common book is, especially if you're going to make them ahead of time. Because if you don't know what project this is going on, you can't measure it to the book. So you have to kind of get an idea of what your favorite size is. This particular piece of fabric is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This one is 7.5 inches. Okay. Now that leaves me about 1.5 inches of border because usually my covers are somewhere around 9. So this would center up. Oh, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 inches wide. So it leaves me 1 inch because usually my covers are 9 by 6 if I'm hand making them. So anyway, so this would be my base piece. Okay. And then I have some bits here that I can play with. And for this, I am going to glue some things down. Now, your other thing with this is whether or not you want to sew on here. I'm kind of leaning into the idea, this is a little bit too big for this. We might trim this a little bit. Let's see how big this piece is. This is my kind of centerpiece. So let's see how big this is. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 inches. 1, 2, 3 and a half. 3.5 inches. 5 by 3.5. So we want this to be, this is a square. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and a quarter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and a little less than a quarter. So it's this way tall. And I said this was 5. Actually, yeah, it's about 5. Okay, so height-wise, I may leave it. It's width-wise that I think I'm gonna take some off of each side. The only reason I would take it off of each side is because I've got these curved corners and it's gonna make funny, what do you call? It's gonna look funny if I don't do it symmetrically because of the way the corners are, because I'm leaving the height. I know, you guys are like, what are you talking about? I'm just yammering. Don't listen to me. All right, I'm going to take a 1/4 inch. We're going to start with a 1/4 inch on either side. And I'm hoping that since this is usually meant for, even though I've been cutting paper with it, I'm hoping it still works. Yay! Okay, and then we're going to take it off of the other side, a 1/4 inch. Oops. And no, I didn't do it straight, so now I have issues. But it'll be all right. Nothing's perfect, right? I would say it's only paper, but in this case, it's only fabric. Okay, now, and then I've got these kind of curved corners, which I don't mind. They kind of add a little something. Now, how wide is this? This is now under 5 inches, which is good because I don't want it to be the same width as this. And this fits on here better. Although I could probably take another 1/4 inch off of both sides. Maybe I could like straighten it up. We're going to cut off the glare coming off of my ruler. I think I've said this before, but I have the metal ruler and then I have, my lighting is up overhead. So yeah, the glare is insane. All right, and then we're going to go this way and take off a 1/4 inch, and hopefully I've got a straight line now. I don't have those little curved edges on the corners anymore, but that's okay. Okay, now we'll put this on here. Now, this I might want to stitch down just this onto here. Now this is a patch. See how it's got it's like got that iron-on shiny surface on it. So I want to take it over to my sewing machine and sew it because I want to glue. There are certain things I want to glue down and then other things I'm going to sew on. And I don't necessarily want to sew through some stuff. So this might get stitched on though. This is an old, I don't even know what it is. It's just really old. So this I was going to glue down. And I need to figure out, so this centers now, and I want this to run underneath here. I want it to run right about there. Like that. Okay. So I didn't turn this on. Or I did turn this on and I just never... I don't want to let go of it because I'm afraid I'll lose its position. Okay, anyway. Alright, so we're going to just put this down with hot glue. In this particular case, I want the the ruffling that the top, that this piece gives it, I want that ruffling. So I'm going to keep it. But yeah, this is probably going to be where I take a break from my Making From My Mess videos again. Just because, like I said, the school year is going to be starting up. The schedule is going to be kind of different. I have one more trip to take in the summer before school starts. You'll be seeing this video while I'm gone. My daughter is taking a cooking camp, like a cooking class. It's a week long, like every day for a week. She goes for a couple of hours and learns how to cook things. So she's doing that, and it's a way, like we have to travel to go to it. All right, so we have that little piece, which we might use. Okay, so that's down. This is my topper. This is down. Now I need to stitch this. I mean, I suppose I could put this on first and then stitch it, and then it would stitch it down to the whole thing. I'm just worried about it going through all of this. This is really thick. I mean, it's netting, but it's thick. All right, we're going to do it. Hold on just a second. Okay, my sewing machine was not behaving. You see how crooked that is? Oh, I'm so upset. And do you see that? I forgot that I hot glued that. So there is a mess in there, and yeah, I don't want to talk about it. I am, however, we're going to turn this back on because I have some more things I want to hot glue. We're going to finish off this topper. I'm going to show you the other topper that I wanted to make. I probably will not do the sewing that needs to be done on that one just because my sewing machine needs a new bobbin and I have to take the needle out and clean it because I ran it through that hot glue. Guys, I'm making messes. Okay, but to cover up this ugly stitching, I actually had something I was going to put on here anyway, so this is going to go here. And I'm going to put it right down under there like that. And I'm not really sure how I'm going to glue it yet. We're going to figure it out. I'm wondering if I should put it up. I need to let go. Let go. Up underneath of there and then glue this down to hold it on. Because gluing this piece is going to be kind of hard. And actually, I don't think... I only want this far. I didn't put any stitching. I wanted to put stitching on there like that, but I didn't end up doing that. Because like I said, you can see it went all over cattywampus, and then it started... This was still supposed to be set on zigzag. Yeah, it made a mess. It's a mess. Okay. So let's go ahead and put some of the embellishments on. So I was going to put this here. Question is, do I want it? No, oh, yeah, that's right. I want it under, like that. As best as I can. So we're going to put that under there. And I'm going to glue it. I don't know why this time my glue gun is like... I don't know what's going on with it, but it's making a lot of like bubbles. And it's kind of driving me crazy. Because it won't... I don't know what the deal with it is. I would say that I like the cordless glue gun, and I do. I love the convenience of it, but sometimes it acts a little weird. I'm not really sure what that's all about. Okay, and then we're going to put on a couple of these yo-yos. Now, toppers can have a lot more embellishing done to them, like dimensional embellishing, just because of the fact that they're going on the outside on your cover, and your cover can have more stuff, right? I'm just gluing the middle because I can't remember. I don't think I have anything to go on there, but I can't remember. So I'm just going to kind of glue that on there like that. And then I have 2 buttons. One for each yo-yo. So one there. This was a lot, better prepared, I guess you could say. Okay, so this can go on the top of a book. Now, I have added, and you notice I didn't measure, so now we have to look at it and see, because this is probably going to hang off. Because this now goes to 7, 8 3/4 down, and it is now, depending on whether or not you want to count this lace. The lace can hang off the end, so I'm just going to count to here, and that's at about the 1/4 inch mark. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 3/4. So if my book is 6, this will still fit. Although I did not check that before I put this down. If you're concerned about that, you need to, obviously check it before you do all the gluing. I might put this, this has to go on. Didn't figure out how I was going to do this. I don't know how to put this down. I might, okay, let's glue. Oh, gross. All right, I've got this kind of thicker spot here. So we're going to put that down with the hot glue. I don't know what's going on there. All right, and then we're going to put, so I'm going to put this down. Oh, it's working better. I don't know if the stick, because I pulled the stick and then pushed it back in, and I don't know if the stick was sat in there funny, or, I don't know. But it's working again. Okay, and then this, I can lift this up and kind of tuck this under like that. And then if I'm really worried about it, I could put a little bit of glue. I can put glue along this little embroidered spot and stick this down on here. And then it'll kind of hold to that lace. Because this is thicker with all this thread. It also anchors this a little better so it's not moving all over the place. I mean, it would only be the edges moving, but you know what I mean. Okay. All right. So we got it on there. Now the question would be whether or not I want it to come all the way down and hang off, or do I want to cut this free? And I kind of want to leave it on here just because it covers up the netting, the tulle netting. I like the fact that that keeps it ruffled. I don't actually like the look of it. So do what you want with that information. Okay, and then up here, we can go ahead and put this one down on this netting. And of course, you have to decide how you want to decorate, as far as like, a lot of times people will put like a picture or something to be the focal point. I don't want to cover up this little hanky. I don't know what this is, but I don't want to cover it up. So the only thing that might go on here is like a little label that says journal, or, something like that, because I just really love the hand stitched, hand embroidered hanky thing there. And I don't want to mess it up. Okay, and then we have one of our bows that we made from Tina's Mass Makes. We've already gone over bows and how big these knots are. So I'm going to put some glue on the knot. We're going to stick it on this button. All right, guys, and there we have a topper ready to go on the cover of a book. I mean, how cute is that? I love it. Okay, so let's put this one over here. Like I said, I was going to sew these together, but my sewing machine's not being nice right now. This one is kind of, I just folded it. So these are from a wallpaper sampler book. I've been trying to find a place to use this forever, and I think it looks really cute on here. This is stuff that I will stitch, most likely. I don't think it goes this way. I also need to run this through my iron, but I'm just going to give you an idea of what it would look like. I wanted to put this under here, like that. Okay, gives a little bit of a border on that edge. Okay, now I made these two little, like this would be a book plate piece, and it would go right there because I don't like that. This is a bird. If you take the bird's head out, sorry, there was a lot of yelling out in my hallway. Okay, so this is a book plate. Now, this just looks like stylized, swirly, feathery kinds of stuff until you have this chicken face on here. I think it's supposed to be a cockatrice or something like that. So I wanted to cover that up. And then my other thing was I have a banner to go here. So I don't know. I'm wondering if I should shorten the banner a little bit, because I then have this bow and this little flower. I'm not going to be able to eliminate all of the noises, so if you guys hear something, I apologize. This little flower to go up in the middle of the bow, kind of like that. Okay, so this is kind of how I wanted this to go together. I don't know if I'll shorten that or not. I don't technically mind this, and then whatever book plate, like if you got a metal book plate or something to go in there, I think it would take away from this looking like it's in the wrong place. And then down here on this little spot, I have a piece of this fabric, the background fabric, in a little hand-stitched ruffle. And I have this little guy to go on top of it here. Maybe I had this the other way. Let's go this way. I don't know, I'd have to figure that out because I don't want them both facing the same way. So I either need to turn this one around. Well, maybe I'll do that. And then turn this one around so that the fluffies go in the middle. Like that. And then I could put like a little pearl or something in the middle there, but you get the idea. Now, I would love to go over to my sewing machine and sew some of this together and put some of it, right. This needs ironing because some of the flowers curl under, and the easiest way to solve that is to iron it. But like I said, right now my sewing machine is in desperate need of maintenance. So I can't do that right now. But this could be a topper. And I love the way this one looks. As a matter of fact, I'm going to take this little cutting board from Dollar Tree. Used to sell these. I don't know if they still do. I haven't seen them, but whatever. And I'm going to slide this on here so that when my sewing machine is up and running and ready to go, I can put that together. And then I can put these together. Now, what I could do is we're going to cut this and see about to add some more detail to this little guy. put that there. And then this would go on here. And they could go in the same book. See? So, and I could even get another piece of this little ribbon and stick it on here, just to add to it. Maybe I make it a longer piece and stick it down the back. So we have this piece here, and maybe I take it and I make it like this, and we cut it. Actually, do I want to banner it? So squeeze it. So I put it like this, fold it in half, and then just cut myself a little V in here, or cut it on a slant. And then when you unfold it, you get the two little banner feet. And this would go on here like this. And maybe I scoot it over just a smidge so that the edge of the ribbon sticks out there. And that feels complete. And then this would go together. I would just run a stitch up at the top, right across the top of there. Glue this on and put something in the middle. Oops. I mean, obviously I would straighten it up and everything. I mean, it's all cattywampus. So I would straighten it up, run it through my sewing machine. And there you have it. A little mini fabric flip. But anyway, like I said, my sewing machine is, oh, this was supposed to go down the middle of that. So it's like opposites. So, sorry, I was doing that up off camera. So my other thought was to put this here. Up the middle. So you get a kind of opposites effect. Sorry about the squeakies, that's my dog. She's out in the hallway squeaking her toy. All right, guys, so fabric flips and toppers, very much related to one another in the fact that, well, in this particular case, fabric flips and fabric toppers related to one another with respect to the fact that they can both be made very nicely out of fabric. I really wish I hadn't messed up my sewing machine, but there you have it. So that's our last fabric making from my mess, and my last making from my mess for a little while. So come back and join me, because we're still going to do things. I'm just not going to do any series type things that have to be kind of planned for and regular, because I got to see how the school year goes. But I hope you liked this one. It's not necessarily a new concept, but it's a lot of fun, and you just need to remember when you got your fabric scraps that this is, one of your options you can throw together with some of your larger scraps and some of your layers and some of your little extra, like flowers and yo-yos and all that extra stuff, bows. So give it a shot. And I will talk to you guys. I don't know what's going to come next, but we'll see when the first week of school starts, what goes up. And I'll talk to you guys soon. God bless. Bye-bye.